Every year, federal agencies purchase roughly $1 billion of products and services from Montana companies. $1 billion.
Just in Montana.
Just in Montana.
The following is a Big Sky Economic Development production.
Welcome to The Vault, a Montana-based business podcast where we highlight the people and ideas driving our region forward. I'm your host, Marcel Bruschi.
You're listening to The Vault.
Joining us today on The Vault, I'm really excited to welcome these two guests because they're not only guests from Billings, but they're guests from our Big Sky Economic Development Office, and they lead our Montana APEX Accelerator program. So we have Deanna Langman and Teresa Brownell here to talk to us a little bit about APEX, what they offer, the services they provide, and how it's set up in the state of Montana. So ladies, welcome to The Vault.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, so Deanna, let's start. We'll just dive in a little bit to learn about each of you for our audience, and then we'll get into APEX. But give us a little bit about who you are and what led you to be the statewide program director.
Well, I've always worked with businesses in my professional career in some capacity, and so APEX was really no different. It was just a new path. But I've worked in banking and economic development previously, and been with the APEX Accelerator program, formerly known as PTAC, for 13 years now. Wow. And, on the personal side, my husband and I have a blended family of 5 adult children and 3 grandkids. And matter of fact, just this morning, one of the grandsons popped into my office. They were here for a different reason and came to say hi. So that was a bonus for me.
Was he the one that was selling the 3D printed stuff at the holiday market?
Well, that's Alexander. That's his older brother.
Oh,
yes. So
okay.
This was Silas today. But anyway, it was great to see him.
And Deanna, tell us a little bit, where'd you grow up? Because I know you grew up in the state, so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've lived in Montana, Billings, a long time now. I, was born in North Dakota and I've lived in a few different states, but went to high school in Miles City and college in Billings and Missoula. And Billings is really my home now. I've been here a long time, more than any other places that I've lived. Mm-hmm. So my husband has been here his whole life. Yeah. And so he doesn't know what it's like to live anywhere else. He's traveled a lot, but every time I think, well, it'd be fun to move here, I think, he's not going to move. Yeah.
And the families around are coming to visit, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Teresa, what about you?
Well, hi, my name is Teresa Brownell. I have been drawn to APEX for the program, what it stands for, help businesses. And I was also a business owner previously. And I and my husband actually have several businesses. So I always seeked some help in getting opportunities. So APEX is a great fit for me, serving to the community, helping the businesses secure the contracts or navigating through the marketplace. But as you can hear, I have an accent.
Yeah, tell us more about it. We're all dying to know.
Yes. So I was born and raised in the Czech Republic. I actually graduated college in Prague and got a internship to be in the United States for a year. So that was my first time visiting United States, and met my husband in Oregon, and we got married and moved to United States to live and, raising our family. I do have 3 boys, so I'm the boys' mom and very active family with doing a lot of sports activities. So
yeah, your kids are very athletic.
They are very athletic. So we moved to Billings 18 years ago. So I really like the community. I actually was drawn to Billings through my family. My brother-in-law lives here with my sister-in-laws raising the family. And I really like the community, the vibe, how a sustainable economy Billings has. And so when we moved in, I never really thought I would be part of Big Sky Economic Development, and was in a different path. And when the opportunity arose, I got on board. I was in a different position. And when Apex position got open, I thought, what an excellent opportunity for me actually do what I love. And that means help businesses, serve the community, and be part of the community for the better. So I'm excited to be on board, and I guess forever in Billings.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I feel like you guys both have fun dogs too that we didn't mention. Sweet little Poppy, right?
Yes, Poppy. Poppy the poodle.
Yeah, that's brown, right? Like a chocolatey color?
She's chocolate, yeah. We call her Poppy Langman, actually. She's the only dog with the last name.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
See, and I have an international dog. So I brought my dog from the Czech Republic. Yeah. She's actually the wire hair standard dachshund.
Yeah.
So she is very sassy and
rules the house of the boys.
She does. She's the girl. And, when you have four boys, I call it, you include my husband into it too. So she's very, very special and sweet little dachshund. You know how they can be.
Yeah. My cousin has a couple. They're spicy little things.
I was just going to say they're spicy little
Lovely
things.
little angels. And my aunt had a poodle. So I'm like, it's fun to,
Yeah.
They're
absolutely.
sweet dogs.
So they're the light of our lives, I would say.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit, and Dan, I think it'd be worth maybe going through a little bit of that history. We said PTAC, right? What does that mean? And now it's called Montana APEX Accelerator. But do you want to talk a little bit about the history of the program, maybe nationally or at least in the state of Montana?
Yeah, sure. APEX Accelerator, formerly known as Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or PTAC. It's a federal program, national program. It's been around since the mid-'80s. It was created by Congress, pilot program in Michigan to help businesses with government contracting. There was a recognition that there's a lot of steps and processes and learning that businesses have to go through to be successful in selling their products and services to the government. And so that's how the program started. And, since then it's in every single state and U.S. territory. And in Montana, our organization, Big Sky Economic Development, is the holder of what's called the Cooperative Agreement with the Department of Defense. Congress funds the program, and there's local match that goes into it as well. But the program is administered by Department of Defense, so we report our results and performance to Department of Defense. But, the scope of our work includes helping companies with whether they're selling to Department of Defense, to civilian federal agencies, let's say VA or BLM or Park Service. We see a lot of the land management agencies in Montana, you can imagine. And then we also help with state and local contracts. And so the whole essence of the program is these contracts are business opportunities for our companies in Montana. And the government agencies cannot fulfill their mission for the public without contracting with private sector companies. And so that's the whole idea. But it is a different type of customer than selling to another commercial customer, for example. There's just, things they have, especially on the federal side, they really have to learn how. And that's where we come in. And that's how we spend most of our day is individually helping companies one-on-one, taking them where they're at and walking them through all the process and helping them understand how this works. And so that's our job, is to teach them, advise, and coach. And of course, it's their job to execute that. But that's so it's a very rewarding job because they so appreciate the assistance and the guidance. And I had 2 weeks ago, I had one company say, I started to do this on my own last year, and I had all these manuals printed off, and I just threw them all in the garbage. And I said, oh, no. So
they called you.
Yeah. And so now he's light years ahead just in 2 weeks.
Wow. Which is such a testament to the work you guys do, which I'd love for you to just really actually talk and really have a conversation with you guys about that process, because you talked about federal, state, and then local. For someone listening that maybe is like, what is government contracting? Right. And why is it such a technical, back end experience? Why do they have to go out? Why can't they just hire the ex contractor on the street? Why do they have to even go through this process? So I'll just open that up to you guys.
Competition is the short answer to that question. The whole system is based on competition.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the federal agency, especially in the federal sector, you have to follow the rules and regulations that are, of course, set up by the Congress, and it's through the federal acquisition. So that's how they have to procure for products and services. And it is a pretty complex marketplace. And but that's what would we come in, right? That's why actually we were created by Congress to bridge the gaps between the businesses and the government sector agencies on the federal, state, or the local level. So I think the first step for any business who might even think about to execute or step into this role is to give us a call, and then we will help them to sort it and start with the first step, which would be the registrations. And I know that sounds like a big word. Everybody's like, I don't want to follow the rules. But unfortunately, there are rules, but they're not alone. We will guide them every step of the way. We will meet them where they are. So I would just say, don't be afraid. Give us a call. We will start. So on the federal side, we will start with that. I think that might be the easiest way. So the registration is required, and that's registration in system for award management. That calls SAM. Again, scary word. Everybody goes like that because if you have businesses, they will call us in case contracting officer says, get in SAM. So yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. Acronym. We have a lot of acronyms. And then we have helpful guides and we will ask questions. We will figure out where they are, and then we will meet with them, and then we will get them through registration. As Deanna said, the process is much easier right now. It takes probably around a couple weeks to get registered. And there's two very important components, and that's actually another acronym that calls UEI and CAGE. So UEI stands for Unique Entity Identifier. It's an identifier for the company, for the entity that will, compete for the contract with the agency. And that is usually 12-digit characters that is assigned through the SAM. And then when SAM is active, you're going to get a CAGE. That's another identifier that is 5-digit characters through numbers and titles. But that's upon activation of registration. And of course, in SAM, there's two different paths that you can obtain. Most businesses will want to bid on contract opportunities. So you want to be in all awards path. That is, like, if you don't remember anything from this session, remember all awards path. Yes. Okay. And if you just want to grants, and that means we want a financial assistance, right? That will be the catchy as people look for loans, or they want to do grants like for the ranches. So I know you have ranch, so maybe your brother might want to secure some funds.
If he could get some employees,
Well, you never know. There's a lot of those available. So they would be in federal assistance path, right? And then we can determine that based on what they want. So that would be kind of in regards of SAM, like the important things to remember. We could talk more about it, but I don't want them to get overwhelmed and get kind of scared. Yeah. But I think that's kind of the main thing to be registered in SAM, to be even able to get started in any federal contract.
And when you get, we're company X, I get registered, right? Like I'm selling whatever product, I'm in it, I'm registered. How long does that registration, how long is that active before you have to renew it?
It's an annual registration. Okay. So we always stress the importance to call us prior to expiration, because we have contractors, they have active federal contracts, and guess what? The SAM expires and they don't get paid. That is the biggest key. That's usually kind of gives everybody oh, I didn't get paid. I didn't get the money coming in. So I will call Apex. They will solve the problem. And believe it or not, we usually, for most of the time, are the heroes of the day. So we do solve it, but we're trying to make sure that we avoid that. So if they could remember, another important part of this is it's an annual registration. Write it down.
And is it hard to read? Is it asking you a bunch of new questions? Does it change? Is it a pretty easy renewal?
The beauty is that is already fulfilled. So all the questions are answered, and it's most of the time, right, Deanna, it's streamlined sometimes.
Yeah, once we set it up and we set it up correctly, and that's what I think, if any message of the day, let's make sure you work with us to set it up correctly, because anything can be fixed, but it's not that easy to fix. But to circle back, though, to your question about the complexity, I think, why is there so many rules and regulations? And I said competition, that's certainly true, but the whole essence, the spirit of the whole procurement system, whether it's state or federal, is really based on maintaining the integrity of the procurement process and fairness and accountability to taxpayer funds. That's really the whole purpose. That's why you see so many steps and regulations, because the agencies have an obligation, and the contracting officers through their warrants have an obligation to make sure they're making the best decisions on behalf of the taxpayers when they expend money on behalf of our government. And so that's a reason. There's a lot to it.
Right. And you're doing work with the government at different levels. So so if someone's in there, they're like, I'm registered now. Okay. Like I'm in the SAM system from a federal, for a federal example. Then what? Like, you're like, okay, I'm in it. I'm registered. Now what?
The phone is not going to just ring.
Right. It's like college. They're offering you a job upon you walking across the stage.
Yeah, no, really. We talk a lot about SAM, but really our focus and our emphasis is helping the company develop a focused market strategy, because it's different for each company. And they have to learn how to actively find and pursue and bid on those opportunities. And that's, we will show them every step of the way. And market strategy is very different from company to company. Not every company sells the same things. Not the channels for selling are not the same, across every sector. And so our role is to sort that out, help them, do some market research, identify which agencies make the most sense for them, kind of narrow it down so they can manage it. And one thing that we've noticed is there's a misperception, I feel, at times, government contracting. There's confusion, I think, with that word. And it's really just selling products and services to the government. And some people have the perception it's just military contracting or maybe construction. And it's so much more than that. We help companies that are janitorial companies. We've got photonics. We've got architects. We've got wildfire contractors. I have a lady that is selling her face creams in the airport gift shops.
Yeah. And that's a government contract, right?
It is a government contract. Yeah, she's a supplier to a concessionaire, that has a contract with the airport. But either way, that's the fine art of figuring out the channel. And I always say don't think it doesn't mean your company.
Yeah.
Because you would be surprised what opportunities are there.
Let's dive into that a little bit, because I think it is like, it's like the big contractors, or it's the big, like, you're fighting fires, you're doing that. But let's talk a little bit about some of those other things. I mean, you gave a good example with the airport, but maybe just some others.
Yeah, a fencing contract with BLM, maybe a roofing contract with the Park Service, maybe a contract to clear and build trails, with the Forest Service. I mean, you name it. We can. The examples are endless. The companies that we help, and Teresa's working currently with a company. They're environmental consulting firm, I believe. Teresa.
Yes, they're actually working with Bureau of Reclamation and putting opportunities. So it's really you can go from consulting services to, like Deanna mentioned, to product selling. There's just sky is the limit. It's literally everything and anything. From any cosmetics or literally scientific and consulting services, and like water resources, we're talking anything and everything. For example, Crazy Creek products, we just mentioned the stadium seatings.
They're out of Red Lodge.
They're out of Red Lodge, or like this company that I've been working with, they're in Billings. So the beauty of federal contracting is that state is not a limit. You can literally go across the whole nation. So if I am a Billings located company, I can bid on a contracting opportunities in Florida. If I have the capacity and capability to deliver and execute on the services or sell the product, I can actually maybe do a business with Navy. So that's the beauty of the federal contracting that we have not touched on. And I really like to bring that up, because we have actually a Billings company that maintains the cemetery. It's like a army cemetery back in Texas.
Wow.
Won a contract, which is very huge for small Billings. I think company.
that's
I
a
think they're a
Laurel-based
Laurel-based company.
Wow.
So that kind of gets people excited when they see like, wow, here I am,
Totally.
I'm a Montana-based company, and I can bid on Florida opportunities. So I think that is kind of the treat, the award afterwards, because the process, the reward is after you get through all these steps, and we're here for you to see their eyes being lit up and being so excited that we get the phone call and they said, guess what? I got it.
Got it. We're
great.
doing it.
We're doing it. And then of course there's additional steps. We don't want to, people get scared from that, but we also help with that, which is probably most people don't know. They all think Apex is SAM and that's it. And it's a very big misconception. Right. And
like you guys are there like their whole life cycle. I mean,
the whole life cycle. Most of our clients
Mm-hmm.
are very long term. Year after year after year, they come back as they move through the contracting life cycle. They're working on different things. You know, when they read through that 150-page solicitation, we're right there with them, helping them understand, making sure they, dot all the I's and cross the T's and don't miss the instructions.
Pretty much, yeah.
All day long we're saying, did you read the full solicitation?
Did you read it again?
They usually read the scope of work first, but there's a lot more to it. And so, we're that second set of eyes, that teacher, that coach. I think it just helps to have that support and someone there to kind of reassure. Just this morning we had a company that was asking about getting on the GSA schedule. Some have probably heard of that. It's almost like a catalog of products and services. Companies can, get on the schedule, and then agencies can purchase from the schedule. And
what does GSA stand for those maybe not?
General Services Administration, yeah. And it's, there's a lot to it, though. There's a lot of steps to go through and a lot of reading and some training and et cetera. And so I kind of lined out the steps for this company this morning. And, it's up to them to decide, but we'll just see where it goes from there. But I think when I was responding to his question, I just tried to reassure that you don't have to do it all at once. It's a step at a time. Dedicate a little bit of time each week, take a long view of this, and eventually you make progress. And so that's the approach we take with all of our clients, actually. We take them where they're at, and, they can go as quickly or as slowly as they want, and we just try to help them get over the hurdle of being overwhelmed, and that's kind of what happens. But,
and that can truly really happen because it comes at you in one big...
Yeah,
the contracting officer will say, okay, I need you to do X, Y, Z. And they go like, wow, that's a lot. And do I really even want to do this? And I would say if you are at that point and you really don't know where to start, don't hesitate to give us a call, because I think really, truly, it's sometimes about to just have a friendly conversation, have somebody who is in your corner, make that push through and start the process.
Give you a little confidence.
Yeah, and give you a little confidence, because people don't realize when you actually crack the code, I say, you crack the code and you figure out the system.
Seems like a good analogy.
Then all of a sudden it starts working for you, right? And I have clients that, even Deanna, we had the conversation a couple of weeks ago, we have clients that we have seen for years, and they would all of a sudden, the light comes on, we call it, and they go like, wow, we got the one, and the hard work is done. And when you get the one, the majority of the basics, the fundamentals is already there, so you can build upon. So it's becoming easier. And I think a lot of the businesses don't understand that. They feel like, I will grind forever, and this will be a grind forever. And it really is not. It's like, soon as you crack the code, you come in it, and you can utilize what you have done on the previous opportunities. I'm not saying that you're going to get awarded everything, right, Deanna?
No.
But the beauty of that you can build on that.
Yeah.
And when you actually execute well on one contract, the word goes a long way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
No, that's absolutely true. And I would say also, we've talked a lot about companies just starting out in the marketplace and going through all the initial steps and whatnot. But really, we can add a lot of value to companies that are very experienced contractors. In our time and our work, we see it all the time. Even experienced companies that already have been doing some contracting, there are always gaps in the way they're going about the execution of their strategy, how they're pursuing the opportunities. They're maybe doing things somewhat the hard way still. And it's amazing how when we show them how they could be, more efficient and more thoughtful about it, they so appreciate that. Or maybe they didn't fully understand how everything worked together. And when we kind of lay it out and go through everything specific to their company, they're amazed by that. And so I would say, it's not just, we certainly work with a lot of companies inquiring, but we can help a lot with companies that are experienced contractors.
So those ones, so if they're like kind of new, right, you get that first contract, the light bulb moment happens, and then they're like, okay, I can do more. I think we've talked a lot about some of the technicality of it, but why should people look at this as an option, right? Because I'll let you guys answer that. Why should businesses, if they haven't already, consider doing this kind of work?
Because it's another type of customer. It's another customer segment. And it's an opportunity to, augment, I guess, your commercial business. And if the government doesn't buy it from our companies in Montana, they will buy it from other companies. And like Teresa said, there's not necessarily boundaries, especially with the federal contracts. So it's just a business opportunity. And, the government pays on time as long as you invoice and,
you're registered.
And obviously you're contributing to, the betterment of society. I mean, that's the whole reason that there are government contracts to start with. These agencies are doing work on our behalf in some way. And so I would just say it's a way to grow your business, earn revenue.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree. Like diversify your portfolio. That would be my biggest thing. And also the government agencies are in certain aspect in mercy of the private sector because they're required to set aside a certain percentage of their totals to small business. So they have to meet the goal standards that are required by the law and SBA standards. So they are required to set aside. So sometimes we get the calls from the agencies. They go like, we really need this project done. And we have no one. And it's literally like desperation. And I say, for anybody who is interested and is willing to do the steps, that is like Deanna mentioned, the government pays. You don't need to worry about like commercial customers sometimes might flake out or delayed. These guys will pay. And if you are good, it's a pretty good stream of revenue that you might, encounter into your portfolio on the regular basis if you know how to do it. So agree 100% with what you said.
Yeah. And yesterday, FEMA called us and they need some contractors to do some repairs on some homes on the Crow Reservation and in Bighorn County, and we were able to provide a lot of explanation to FEMA on how this works, but also with a list of about 33 different companies that she could actually pick from. They're ready to go. They're active in SAM. They're situated. They've got all the required skills needed for the work they need done, and she was just over the moon in her appreciation with our help.
Which I think goes to show just the relationships you guys have. And I want to touch on that because you mentioned it a little bit earlier of like, you guys are there the whole way through. You're in it day in and day out. Like no one knows these systems better than you and these agency relationships that you're building on, even with our federal delegation as things need pushed on at a national level. Talk a little bit about some of the professional development and things that you guys are constantly doing so that you're up to date on everything that's going on, because we know the government changes things regularly for fun. Yeah, keeps us all on our toes.
We're in a constant cycle of professional development because things change, and so we take our coursework through a multitude of sources. But Defense Acquisition University, that's a training platform that a lot of the contracting officers actually have to work through to get their warrants. We take courses through our national association, APEX. We have GSA and SBA training that we access. We go through National Contract Management Association. We've taken some excellent training through them. There's a lot of different options for us out there, both in person and virtual options for professional development. We're required by Department of Defense to complete a certain portion of professional development hours every year, and so as state director, I have to I keep track of all that sort of thing because we have 4 other locations in Montana that I overlook, and actually 5. four subs to us, and then a remote location that covers Bozeman, Butte, and Helena. But that's part of our charge, from DOD. Obviously, if we're going to be advising companies on government contracting, we better know what we're talking about. So we're on a constant quest to learn.
And I was going to put
a lot of reading.
A perspective for the listeners. So for me as an advisor, I have to complete 40 hours a year, which might sound not enough,
no,
but that
in
is
addition to your workload,
exactly.
work life.
Yes, so it is additional to our work life. So that is a requirement that all advisors need to meet. Also, we have additional certification that if you're within program for 2 years, then you can actually go through the certified procurement specialist. And it's did I say it right?
Certified procurement professional.
Professional, I apologize. Yeah,
so National Association. Yeah.
So it's a CPP that you have to complete extra hours of, education, and then you can get the designation, which is recognized by our National APEX Association only. But still, it sets you apart because you have to study specific topics and stuff like that. And just for the listeners, we don't, who is listening to this podcast, we don't cover just the civilians aspect. We also dive into the DoD requirements like cybersecurity, defensive innovation, and etc. Those are much more in-depth things that we need to be well reversed, like a foreign ownership and stuff like that. So that might sound like pretty hefty topics to a lot of them, but we also need to have knowledge on different various topics. So we're pretty well reversed, and we have to keep up to the all the requirements with DoD.
Yeah, the subject matter is vast. You can imagine.
And you guys are experts in it, which I think all that to say is like you're in it every day. You're really leaning into the professional development aspect. So people coming to you, calling you from everywhere that they do in the state, maybe outside of the state sometimes, like they're getting the best help they can from your team.
Yeah,
you should agree.
I'm not shy about it. Yeah, I think for sure. And, our tagline used to be personal, timely advice on contracting with the government. It was kind of a play on the word PTAC, but we still kept that tagline because we actually really believe that and mean it. And we all take it very seriously. We can't be subject matter experts if we're not students. And so we are students of the material. And yes, we read the FAR and the CFR and
my favorite topic.
And so it's kind of its own little world in a way, but that's how we're able to help bridge that gap.
You talked about, which we didn't get to initially, but that you're the statewide program director for APEX. What's the relationship like with the other locations? Like how's that structured for those listening that are like, oh, maybe I'm in Kalispell and you guys are in Billings. Like who do I connect with? Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Big Sky Economic Development, coming on 30 years now, has held what's called the cooperative agreement. It's a type of federal funding vehicle. It's not a grant. It's a cooperative agreement with Department of Defense. Department of Defense has been the agency that has administered this program, since it was formed in the 80s. And so our organization holds the cooperative agreement, and the way we deliver services to the whole state is through sub-recipient agreements. So we have agreements with University of Montana in Missoula, Montana West Economic Development in Kalispell, Great Falls Development Authority, and Snowy Mountain Development Corporation in Lewistown. And then we have a Big Sky EDA employee who's remote, and she covers Bozeman, Helena, and Butte. And so no matter where a company is in the state, there's an advisor there to support them and help them in person if that works. But we do a lot of our counseling through virtually. And we did that before COVID.
Yeah, I was like, you guys were doing that before. Yeah, it was like the thing to do.
Yeah, we were, we're on Zoom all day, but we were on Join Me all day before. So that's not new, really. I mean, a company from Sydney isn't going to be able to come to Billings, but yet we've worked with them for over 10 years, for example. Yeah. So each year we have to reapply for the funding.
Yeah.
It's a year-to-year situation. And it's not that Big Sky Economic Development has an exclusive on this program. It's just that this organization has stepped up to the plate all these years to say, yeah, we'll lead the state program.
And I think it's valuable that we do that and have that these services provided to the state.
Right. And so my responsibility as state program director is to overlook these other locations, everything with their performance and their counseling and their professional development and their budget. And
you still advise clients.
Still advise clients, yep. But anyway, it's worked. It's a well-oiled machine, I would say, at this point with Big Sky Economic Development. For
Thanks
sure.
to your leadership, in the program, because you've been here doing it for a long time.
Yeah, 13 years. But it was here long before I got here.
Right.
But I think I am very biased. I think Montana is one of the really higher performer programs throughout the nation. I have seen it. I have been saying it. I think our advisors are well-rounded. We just don't serve with one specific topics. And I think that really sets us apart from others. I really, truly believe it's thanks to Deanna's leadership and the way she runs this program, because we really are subject matter of experts. And the way she teaches us and guides us is to know all the topics. So it's not just from the registration. We're capable to really navigate throughout the whole process, help with the solicitation, post award, and etc. So I think Montana APEX Accelerator is very above, I would say. Yeah. I'm very biased, but I really appreciate that
at a national level in different conversations.
And I do hear that. And they seek, advice and guidance. Deanna has been often called for, help and, recommendations and stuff like that. So I'm very blessed to be part of this team.
Yeah.
And I'm very honored to serve as one of the advisors.
So you guys, in addition to, you're counseling clients, you're running the state, just making sure everyone's doing their thing. You're doing professional development. I would add, all of this is free. The services that you're hearing about from these teams and advisors is free, which is huge. But you're also doing events and trainings. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of those that you've done or that you do in an annual calendar cycle?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's a prepaid service with your tax dollars. Free isn't maybe, but no, there's no charge to the clients. But yeah, through the year we also, the one-on-one counseling is a lot of how we spend our time, but there's different trainings that we do throughout the year. Teresa and Lynette in our remote location, they do a monthly series called What Happens After Sam? Yeah. And that talks a lot about, don't wait for the phone to ring. Now you have to do these additional things to really find the business. So
that's to me
that's an example.
Absolutely.
And that's virtual, right?
That is virtual. Yep. It's actually through our virtual platform, Zoom. And I would highly recommend anyone who is ever maybe thinking to do government contracting and starts kind of diving into it to take that workshop. That's wonderful. It literally goes in a high overview over the fundamentals, and we outline pretty much everything, how it looks in the whole. So I think it would be great if anyone wants to jot it down. So
and that's just one example.
That's just one example.
Yeah, they're doing cybersecurity training. DOD has very stringent requirements for cybersecurity, and the other federal agencies are only going to follow. It's going to be more and more of a requirement in the future. So it's something to take action on if you're serious about government contracting. So we also we'll hold industry days, an industry day with BLM or GSA. We got back from Great Falls last week from our GovMatch event. Usually that GovMatch is a matchmaking event where agencies and businesses come together to talk about opportunities and doing business. We've done that in Billings for a number of years, and this year our advisors in Great Falls took it on, and we had it in Great Falls. It was a great event. 40 agencies were on hand to meet with over 175 Montana companies. They drive to GovMatch. They look forward to it.
Well, and you guys get the agencies there, which I think is a huge win too. Of you're going to be able, if you attend a GovMatch or an industry day, you have the agencies there to meet with you. Yes. That face to face.
Yes, that's right.
Understand your company. That's going to leverage you in bigger ways than just.
No doubt about it. Yes, the system's all based on competition and integrity and all of that, but there's no replacement for having a face-to-face meeting and for a representative in an agency or contracting officer to understand how you can help them solve a problem, and that's the whole point of the event. And so through the year we do different trainings like that on procurement subjects. I mean, we're teachers. Yeah.
And I would add to it, I think it's building a relationship. I think it's, being in face-to-face and introduce yourself and develop that relationship on one-on-one. That's much easier to follow up with an email or phone call when you can put the face-to-face together. So I'm a huge fan of in-person meetings.
Same, yeah.
I mean, I like virtual, but I think in person, if you get that opportunity, please take on, drive wherever it takes, because you can make a difference. You can make an impression, and that goes long ways. So like Deanna mentioned, I would mention one more thing. I think we don't talk about it. It's a newer to Apex. We do this Montana Procurement Academy, which is a 10-week, very extensive, in-depth program learning about procurement, about the strategy and how to identify opportunities. I had the chance to actually lead one of the cohorts, and I have to say, hands down, that is one of probably the best tools if you really want to learn about government contracting. I don't know what's Deanna's take on that. I have led the second cohort, and Lynette, my coworker, did the first one, and we both were pretty impressed, amazed how well it was run. We are actually collaborating with Cavology, who is our educational partner on that, and it's a 10 weeks long.
Virtual, right?
That one is virtual, but it gives you pretty much any aspects of government contracting. It focuses on the federal level. We are talking mostly about the federal right now, but
and so if someone's
great.
like, I want to do that. Like, what's the time commitment? Because it's 10 weeks. Is it? Yeah.
But we would like them to be already registered in SAM, have some fundamentals done, so they have a better understanding what they're into it. It's more in depth. So it's not for a newly started company that might just trying to figure out ways around it. I would probably recommend it for somebody who is well established in commercial sector, who is understanding what's going on, and they want to maybe diversify their portfolio and really get in government contracting. Or would you like to add anything, Deanna, to that?
Yeah, I think the ideal student for that procurement academy is a company that's maybe had some contracting experience, or they've worked with us a little bit to at least have a foundation set up. The ones that are, they're maybe more serious about it. They really want to learn. That's the profile of the students that we've seen. That they're more successful in that regard. And so Lynette will be starting the next one in September, and we'll be doing a marketing push for that pretty soon here. But it's the time commitment. It's a little time commitment. I mean, it's not
like 8 to 5 Monday through Friday for 10 weeks, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's a self-directed. Watch the training video, and then once a week we gather for what's called a return and report call, where we discuss that topic that week and answer questions, and there's just discussion among the students, and it's very interesting to watch them, come with their questions and then talk to each other and learn from each other, and sometimes there's a subject matter expert that joins us, but our role is to facilitate the conversation. And then they have homework.
Yeah, it's a 10-week course for a reason. Let's go.
Yeah, so we joke about that a lot. But anyway, they really get a lot out of it. And the companies that have gone through it just say hands down, they just are. It's amazing to watch their confidence grow as they learn and understand, and then they just go and get it done.
Wow, that's really cool.
So you can see we touch pretty much everything.
I know you guys are doing a lot. Like, what haven't I asked you about the program that you're running and the things that you do that maybe I haven't asked about?
I think we topped a lot in federal, but wouldn't you think that the state we have really great state procurement. Again, I'm biased. I helped clients with other, registration and through other states procurement. And I have to really give a huge kudos to state Montana of their procurement website, which is called EMAX, another acronym. EMAX.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good. Love these acronyms.
We'll
have a quiz later.
We should have a quiz later and see who passes. If they listen, they should say. But don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We work closely with our state procurement division and have for a long time. And we do trainings with them on how to do business with the state of Montana. We regularly help companies get set up to do state contracting. They invite us to their procurement symposium once a year, and we talk with them a lot. And so that that's another avenue. That's a government contract too, but and city and county. But the steps for the city and county isn't probably has involved. Like I say, we end up always talking about federal because that does involve the most It has the most requirements and the most learning probably.
But it seems like, and maybe I'm mistaken, but it seems like if you're set up to do the federal contracting, like you then have all the stuff for the other ones, because you're like, that one is the most detailed because it's federal, right? Like there's regulations that, the feds have that maybe the state of Montana as a state doesn't. So it's just different.
Yeah, no, that's right. We always say, if you got through SAM, don't worry about anything else.
The rest is fine.
The rest is fine. But I would say federal and state will get you well set.
Yeah.
So both of those, if anything, if you're thinking to tap into it, get registered in SAM first, then be registered as a vendor with the state, and then we can help you figure out how to even look for the opportunities. Because as Deanna mentioned, the phone won't ring. That is the one fact that most people don't know. Then when they think, oh my goodness, I'm going to register in SAM and I'm good to go. And all of a sudden,
other companies get that. This person just registered. No, they don't get that.
And they think, oh, and now they're going to call me with a contract. And that is such a huge misconception, right? Because the agencies won't call you with a contract. You have to put the bid together. They have to review it, and they either accept it or don't. And we didn't touch on that, but we can sort it out. But if you get registered and as Deanna said, don't try to register it on your own in SAM. It's becoming a nightmare.
Yeah, why would you if you have help? Like if you have people that like navigate it and know it, it's like, make this a little bit easier on yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you can, we can make it easier and more understandable and more efficient, and
absolutely
less stressful.
So I'm always impressed when you send the emails for like our board updates or like the annual report. Can you just talk a little bit about what is the state impact, or like from all of the centers, and then maybe local too, of some of those like money impact numbers that government contracting provides to companies in the state of Montana?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to give you an idea of the size of the marketplace, every year, federal agencies purchase roughly $1 billion of products and services from Montana companies. $1 billion.
Just in Montana.
Just in Montana. And we are
that's insane.
Low populated state, as you know.
More cows than people with a lot of land to cover.
Yep. And that's just federal. We don't really have great numbers from the state of Montana. With federal, you can push a few buttons and get those totals, but with state, that's a little harder to sort out. But you can imagine what the state of Montana purchases. They can't. Those agencies also cannot do their work without contracting with private companies. And then there's city and county, and then of course some of our companies can sell to other states.
Yep.
So you can the market opportunity, the size of the marketplace is overwhelming. And as far as our impact, as APEX Accelerators, the companies that we help, roughly every single year win about $380 million in contracts. That's just who we work with at any point in time. And we don't get contracts for companies. We teach them how they get their contracts, but we're with them, and we certainly think there's a correlation between the help that we
You're the
give
coach and
them
teacher to help them.
Yeah, exactly, and their success ratio. So there's the opportunities out there, and it's just a matter of learning how to tap into it.
Wow. That's so really they just need to call you.
Yes.
It's been really fun to have you guys on.
Thank you.
As you maybe know, I have a few like rapid-ish fire questions to ask you both, just to end the episode. We end them with rapid fire. They're all different.
No
So
fair.
Should we be scared? Should we run?
no, it's good. And if you need a minute to think, we can give you that.
2 maybe.
Yeah.
2
So
minutes.
what's maybe some of the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received was probably from my childhood friend, and she said, whatever you do, take as much training as you possibly can wherever you can take it.
I like that. That's really, and it's fitting for what you do now.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I will give this quote to Deanna, because when I started, I wanted to learn everything at once. And what is really engraved in me is slow and steady, one step at a time. And I think that's stuck with me throughout the years. So one step at a time, slow and steady, and of course, continuous learning, never stop learning. So those would be long-winded answer for me.
But I think like fitting too for the kind of work, right? It's like you put in the work every day to then get get that win. And then you do it all again to get the next one.
And it's very overwhelming process.
Yeah.
So even for us, learning the materials and being the subject matter expert, you have to take one step at a time. Even you want to learn everything at once and make sure that you are the best resource that there is. Still, that doesn't work that way. You get burned. So slow and steady. I keep repeating myself.
Slow and steady. I like
say
that.
that a lot every day.
She does. She does.
Like one step at a time. I have to remind myself of that sometimes.
Yes.
So my next one's not as rapid, but is there like a client story or relationship that really sticks out to you in the work that you guys have done through Apex that you're like, that's just so inspiring because of X, Y, and Z? Because I know you've worked with a lot. I mean, like you guys work with like an insane amount.
Yeah, that is hard to narrow down, but I would say of late, I gave this example to staff a while back, but while it's a construction company, actually, they're based in Columbus, and been working with them for years. They do some wildfire contracting. They've got some heavy equipment, and all these years, I kept saying, I think there's a lot more you could be doing here. There's opportunities with BLM and all these other examples, and it just never really set in. They just always came back for wildfire contracting, and of course we help them through that. But then all of a sudden, I don't know why, but this year, like Teresa said earlier, the light came on, and there was a few BLM opportunities they went after in a couple of state of Montana contracts, and we got through, and they won one of the BLM contracts, not the other one, but they were so excited, and it was fascinating to watch how they just became into it and more motivated to do and learn more. And I haven't talked to them for a little while. Summers are busy time, I expect to see them pretty soon again because they're going to come across another one that they want to go after, and I think that's fantastic. And they're just so excited about it, and they're so appreciative. Yeah, that we got them over that hurdle,
and they're like ready to go for the.
They're ready
more.
to go. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is their busy time right now. Hopefully not too busy, but yeah.
Yeah, what really the biggest appreciation, what I have seen throughout the years that I have been with Apex is the continuous return of the customer. The businesses are coming back, either wanting to learn more or trying to navigate through different, wherever they are. But like Deanna mentioned, sometimes, you see the grind that they put in, that normally in the commercial work, like you don't see it, right? They put the hard work, and then sometimes there's also hardships, right? They get rejected. They navigate through the hardness, and then we're here to kind of mellow it down. But the victory when they actually accomplish something and the excitement. So I will share a business that tried to pursue contracting opportunities through numerous different avenues, and were always shut down. And then they came in front of me, and we kind of, I call it peeled onion. I like that's actually Deanna's wording, but kind of looked at it more in depth and just a little tweak on how they were writing their proposals and went in front of the agencies, actually got them a contract. And what Deanna mentioned, that huge excitement and how the word came to them, that's something that you cannot replace. So that's, to me, the biggest award for me, seeing the success of the business and the award and the excitement to pursue more. And those are I would say, lifetime clients to us, because they will come back, and they are coming back for numerous reasons. If it's a SAM renewal, if it's just to share what's new in their lives. And that's something that fulfills me as an advisor, to serve the community and see the business thriving. Yeah. So that's kind of probably why I love what I do. So I would say that is huge for me.
Yeah. And it's like, I think you guys give them the light bulb, but I think what it really is like, you're giving them a little like dose of confidence, and then like they're, you get to watch them and be proud of them you guys are a huge coach and people right alongside them, but then once they do it, just such a rewarding experience.
Yeah, it really is. They come to really rely on us, and they trust us.
They do, which is huge on the relationship side and all of that. So you guys are like two of the hardest working people I know. So I'm really excited for this last question I have for you, because you guys are in it. You're doing all these things all the time, always on, always working with clients. What's one thing that gets you to relax or de-stress at the end of a day or the end of a week?
Well, for me, that's hard to answer. I'm not going to say what I told Teresa last night. I'm going to fall asleep in my chair when I get home. No,
we all maybe do that on the couch.
I like to watch. I'm a fan of murder mysteries and some series once in a while, and that's a good place to put my brain in neutral. And if I can read, although I read so much during the day, I found myself not reading like I normally like to, but I enjoy that. And just obviously time with family and the grandkids.
Yeah. So I like that kind of show too. So what are you watching, or what have you watched lately that you're like, love it? I'm like,
Well, I watched a series on Netflix called Animal Kingdom, and it's not what it sounds like. It's the acting was just impeccable. It was just fascinating. I couldn't get enough of the characters, and some of the content might not be for everybody, but I was kind of bummed when it finished.
Yeah.
I don't know, what am I going to watch now?
But I might have to go watch that. I could use.
Yeah, it was excellent. But I watch all the 2020s and the shows on TV. But although I'm getting where I've seen a lot of those, so I'm probably kind of bored with that right now.
I love a good murder mystery. Yeah. Teresa, what about you?
Well, I don't think I have time for relaxation with 3 boys. I think, but I do. I need to decompress. That is true fact. And sometimes I like to be alone. I know that sounds really weird for a person.
I enjoy that myself.
So some peace and quiet. But I also like to work out, and that gives me relaxation. Sometimes I do jazzercise. So it's probably a lot of people know about me.
And you teach it.
I do teach it, but I also like to just take a class to relax. And believe it or not, I used to be a very rowdy fan on soccer sidelines, and now I actually find this kind of relaxing to watch my kids play. That sounds probably really odd. And for people, if they're listening and they know me, they go, oh, that's not true. But it is truly true lately with the workload that we're experiencing. I can really relax and enjoy watching my boys and spend some family time. But there are days that I really need a peace and quiet and just be by myself.
Yeah.
So, just good book or just kind of sitting by myself doing nothing.
Alone.
I don't know.
Fine. I'm like, honestly, I get that.
Looking in a dark spot. I don't know. That might be scary, but
we all need, it's different for everybody. Thank you guys, or ladies. Where can people connect with Apex? Like, where can they find you, get connected, learn more?
Well, I think first MontanaAPEX.org is our website, and that has links and contact information for all of our 6 locations. But for Teresa and I, obviously call us here at Big Sky Economic Development. I have a direct line, 869-8410, and Teresa is 869-8414.
Right. Yeah,
that's
right.
really good. And there's social media. So there's like a LinkedIn account and Facebook. But if you're looking to like maybe attend a training or something that they talked about, like the website and Facebook are probably the best locations to find that.
For sure.
Yeah, our website would
And there's a fun video if you guys are curious, like, want to learn more too. There's a cool video that breaks down government contracting.
Yeah, it does.
That is actually a cool
Plain
one.
English.
Plain
English.
With a fun example.
Yeah. Yes, I really like that video. I use it a lot. So I would, everybody who is interested, go on our website and check out the video.
Well, thank you. It's been fun to learn more about you guys.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for listening to The Vault. Connect with us on Facebook at The Vault at 201 North Broadway or Instagram at TheVault_201. Or check us out on our website, thevault@201.com, where you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter. See you next time.